I have more to share today on the lovely 5D mystic journey for those of you who have tuned in to the order of, let's see how I can pronounce, Melchizedek. So, embraced by light, mission uncovered, don't give up, and infinite potential manifestation vortex. So the order of Melchizedek episodes are on the podcast, and future thinking. So we have light codes. Okay. I will pause for a minute as I also share with you this. We've been talking about divine masculine, divine feminine, but again, what's important to note is karma is used erroneously by the 4D collective. And the 5D collective knows that karma is not a bad word. We also know about it when it comes to the way integration of the brain. So to be in your prefrontal cortex and a secure attachment person, to do dharma is straightforward. It means you have no charges. So your 14, 15, 16-year-old is not leading the way. I'm attachment and trauma informed, besides being a mystic in the enlightenment soul age group. So those angelic frequency codes, as well as our lovely Venusian Galactic Council, what energies are coming about for a divine feminine who's an actual divine feminine. A divine feminine nurtures and protects. So we don't get chaotic. We don't get rigid. Chaos and rigidity come from a non-integrated human being brain. So when you have a person who is a Cusco, a teenager is what I call it, but also it's a person who is in structural dissociation. There's many different words that I could use. I will be very straightforward about it and share that it's teenagers, but it's a shame cycle. So it's serious business. However, when people do, I don't want to do personal development, I want life now, and I've seen that. I mean, I haven't seen them do this, but basically, that's what it sounds like and looks like. I'm like, don't you know about ventral vagal nervous system toning, exercising, and that being you being able to use your left and right mode with meta-awareness? So you know how attention is one of the highest forms of love. It seemed that a lot of people didn't grow up from their teenage years when I look at it. So as I learned about attachment and trauma-informed material in these past couple years, my mystic stuff was like, okay, I'm a divine feminine. The divine feminines who are going chaotic on their divine masculines and calling twin flame and flames a saga, they're all like from the movie Mean Girls, or teenagers of, again, Cusco squirrels. And wait a minute, that actually has a word. Yes, the word is that structural dissociation is very important. You can work with the unfinished business from home, from your attachment system from when you were at home. People don't like to hear when I share with them how all people are deserving of love. They tend to say, no, I want to shame a human being who promised me a fairy tale and in 3 months' time there's no promise. That's how old are you? The question. But this is, again, it seems that the influencers who follow stereotypes and tell women how, what was it? Yeah, I'm not going to repeat it, but it was very funny. I don't actually feel like doing on camera what she did, and that's because it's better not to, since I have a whole different idea of this entire concept of men and women, which is that actual men would not, one, in any way, shape, or form lie, because an actual man would have a whole 3-year-old heart. It means they know how to be emotionally vulnerable. So they know how to approach someone with complete transparency. This is the beauty of being a potent connection within yourself. Yeah, so you see, a lot of the mystics, they think they're mystics, the divine feminines, because they have clairs. They don't understand that our neuroscience community, physics, and others, I'm sure I'm forgetting their names, but neuroscience, neurobiology, a group of them that study mental health and humanity, we know there's no demonic spirit possessing anyone when your fear receptor's going wonky. But again, people who want to be Peter Pans, no, they don't move into becoming a integrated brain, so they don't know their whole heart. If they did, again, as I was saying, I am most certain that a masculine man, and that's because I also had a recently conversation with a masculine man, and as we're talking as two human beings, and I'm a feminine woman, like here's that part of where, and as a divine feminine completely, I'm like, yeah, I am not on board with chaos and rigidity. Furthermore, I know it's structural dissociation, it's unfinished business, it's trauma, and it's people who are standing around saying they're helping each other to stand up for something called equality. I'm going to say silencing any group is not equality. What that is, thank you to my trauma experts, what I understood recently in my in-depth courses. So when you recover from trauma, well, one, there's some of us who we know how to do it because trauma charges. We all have trauma charges. The trauma of abuse, neglect, and the ones who take it seriously, they in fact don't do. I don't want to do personal development. They are in the seat, reparenting themselves and knowing things like, thank you, Patrick Tiahan, childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing. He's a therapist. One of his recent shares is, what I regret from my childhood is it made me unkind. And so that's what a childhood trauma survivor will know. I, on the other hand, thanks, Mom, I know my childhood. I look to the past. I don't regret. I chose kindness, even though I know I can't prove kindness. Thank you, Jesus. Come on over. As I learn to disregard teenagers and accept the he said, she said, he said, and they said, and consistently understand that however older I got, none of this changed. The one thing that changed, thank you, educators, is that I now know that women who go chaotic on men and men who go obviously chaotic on women, and all of those people who are yelling out there, they're Peter Pan, no, they're following Peter Pan who follows a Wendy, and then there's the Lost Boys and Lost Girls, and they're Pinocchios who follow people. They have no good compass because they don't know about their 0, 1-year-old, 3-year-old, their shame cycle. They don't know good psych education. Oh, and they disregard people's actual good content like Patrick Tiahan. Again, I love this man. I do. I love you, Patrick, if you ever come across, meaning I appreciate you. And yes, I even have to explain it because, for the polyamory community, love is instinctively given to all people. And then we have our special people. But just saying, love is love. Polyvagal theory doctor, thanks, Stephen Porges, for coming on over and letting us know secure attachment is when you can have love, the oxytocin gene hormone on, which is way better than what people think lust is nothing. This is why you will always know when you meet somebody who's not a Venus of goddess of love, because love has nothing to do with fucking, FYI. Not even close. Nope. In fact, what I was happy to hear about, good sex educator out there, orgasm, it's all in the brain. You literally need no one except for your imagination. Go figure. And then you get to see 4D people saying things like, your husbands, they're watching porn and AI is, alive, and oh my gosh, they're polyamorous. I literally saw this woman do this. I was like, how old is she? I know she's either my age and I'm 44, and I'm pretty much like, what? I know I'm a mystic, but what is that? Oh wait, that's called jealousy. Also, I have a very strict monogamous opinion, and you're telling other people that just because somebody watches porn that they're polyamorous, which has nothing to do with sex, FYI. Not necessarily. Some of us are gray asexual or completely asexual. You should join forums of the polyamory community and you'd find out. But no, comedians, they like to call us names, and, one of their favorite ones is, again, whores. Really? Is that grown-up language? I mean, I don't know how YouTube does. I know that I'm not in any way, shape, or form going to censor myself, but I'm trying to make a point, which is, how old are people? See a lot of content with a lot more ridiculous information, so I'm hoping a couple of curse words is not going to, cast away a message. But if it does, I guess so well. It means it was not meant to be given. That's the other part. When you're an actual divine feminine, you know that what is meant to be heard will be heard, and what is not is not. Oh, and that ears of Cusco's twist things to the extent of because the survival mode, again, is not your integrated brain. So when you are a person who has compassion, you have love, which is why masculine and feminines, we work together to bring nurture, protection as actually mature, emotionally speaking people. So we don't do the let's talk about karma as if it's something bad. We actually know about childhood trauma, and we look to heal and support people who want a secure attachment figure. So let's be kind and loving to each other, not yell. As those who don't resolve their trauma look for people to yell with them, and that's not healed trauma.